Hello and welcome to today's Christian Woman. I'm your host, Pastor Kerrene Covington, and I'm glad that you could join us right here on Wigntv.net. We invite you to visit the website and visit all the shows. You will truly be blessed. I'm here today with our special guest, Gail Perry-Mason. Hello, Gail.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing just great. I'm glad to have you here. I understand that you're really busy, and we really appreciate you taking time out to join us today.
It's great to be here, Pastor. Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure because you're going to be talking about something that's quite near to my heart, and that is finances. I think that's an underrated aspect of our lives that we don't really consider, whether it's future planning or just living today.
Yes.
So, before we get into that, why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Okay, I'm Senior Director of Investments, is what I am for a living at a brokerage firm. That's a national brokerage firm. But I do that. I love to teach kids about investing. I just think I have more of a teaching method when it comes to money and investing. I don't do a lot about budgeting, but I know we're going to talk about that today. But in order to start investing, you have to have some disposable income. So we can talk about that. But my background is just I started as a receptionist, and I moved up until, finally a secretary, and then I kept moving up. So I did that, but it wasn't, it wasn't easy, of course. I'm just saying that. But it started out, I didn't know anything about a brokerage firm, and I learned. So it was kind of like on-the-job training when it comes to, learning about money, learning about different things, because I didn't, we didn't talk about it in our households.
Sure.
And especially being, African Americans, we don't talk about money a lot, and most women don't talk about money a lot. So when I was, being raised by my mom, that's something that we didn't talk about. We just talked mainly about, just different things, with just have a joint account with Jesus that only you and Jesus knew about, and the credit union. It was the only thing that I knew, go to the credit union. But now if you talk about wealth is a lot different than being, rich. I always say rich is like conspicuous consumption. Wealth is having assets working for you instead of you working for your money. And I think that's where we have to change our mindset, is really have our money work for us. So I love educating people. I started out by being totally uneducated about money. And now every single day I learn more and more about money. Money is just a tool, but I learn more about that tool every single day and how to use it and how to use it correctly.
Now, I know that you went to University of Detroit.
Yes.
Did you major in finance?
No, I majored in biology.
That's a long jump there.
I know. Well, anyway, I had a baby and had to go back to school. Then I switched my major to finance eventually once I started working at a brokerage firm. So once I was broke, once I was broke, I learned I had to learn more about a brokerage firm. So that's really how that all came into play. But no, I didn't know anything about money. I was majoring in biology. I wanted to be a child psychiatrist. And that was my goal. I wanted to help out children. So totally different.
Yes.
But I think, and I really think this, and Pastor, I'm sure you would agree with me. I think life is in divine order. And I think you got to pray about everything. And I just happened to have a child and needed a job, and went to a brokerage firm, and that's what and they hired me, and I didn't even know what I just, like I said, I was brokerage firm, and that's what happened. So it was divine order that I ended up working in the financial industry, because I was going to go back and go to medical school and still with my child, and my mom was going to help me out, and now I was like, wow, I love this industry more. And so God really put me in the right place at the right time. And I think it's where I was supposed to be, and I'm so happy that I'm in this industry now.
That's really quite amazing in that I have a similar story. It started out going to college with the ideal, I'm going to be an educator. It's what I wanted to do. I was already preaching and youth pastor at the time, but I said, I'm going to be an educator. That's what I wanted since I was in the 5th grade. So I knew what I wanted. My major is sociology. That's what my degree is in. Nothing to do with education at all, but I was in the right place, and God just said, no, let's do this. So we do have to be open to what God wants us to do, and it does come by a process of praying and making sure that we know the will and the mind of God. Since you're in finances, and that's something that I know how to do a budget, I know how to stick to that budget, I know what I want to do, but as far as a young family, let's look at young families first of all. Let's say they have 2 children.
Yes.
And for purposes, because we're going to look at the single and the married. Let's say the single woman has 2 children.
Yes.
They're young. okay, let's say put them both in elementary school. She's got very little disposable income.
Okay.
What can she do to actually invest to make sure, one, perhaps that the kids can go to college, she can pay off the home that she's living in? What can she do?
First, I think the one thing that she needs to do is to never let any of her money be homeless. I think nobody should ever have their money homeless, whether you're single, married, but being a single mom of two is really difficult. You're just thinking about surviving day to day. Baby
Right.
needs diapers. Diapers are so expensive. Formula is so expensive. Everything is expensive. So first of all, write down where your money's going. So if you have kids and you have diapers, I don't know if anybody out here listening had a baby, go on Amazon.com and buy your diapers. Find like different creative ways to bring in income. Number one, every woman should have 5 avenues of income and not just shop on Fifth Avenue. They need to have 5 avenues of income. So I'll talk about that before the show ends, how every woman should have 5 avenues of income. But if you're a single mom, I think the first thing you need to do is go on a website called Mint, MINT.com. Mint.com tracks where all your money goes. So first of all, not to have your money homeless, make sure you know where all your money is going. So for 30 days, just track your money. You know, I'm spending this much in diapers, this much in formula, this much in daycare. Start shopping around. You want your kids to have the best care. If you're going to work, so start shopping around for different daycare providers that are probably more reasonable. And also check out the au pair services. I think I ended up getting an au pair who lives in the house with you, $130 a week versus taking both of my kids out. So $130 a week, really for all 3 kids, was much cheaper than taking them out.
Certainly.
And then I helped her go to school and everything else. So sometimes you can barter services, you can do different things. Try to be creative and make the family, you know, work together to do different things. So that was much cheaper, and it was a tax write-off. So by having an au pair. Another thing I think a single mom should do is, you know, definitely coupon. Go to couponmom.com. Go to dealseekingmom.com. But I think mint.com is where to start. Set up a spending plan. Set up, you know, what they're going to do. Then make layoffs in the household. Whether you're, you know, spend so much on car insurance, whether you have all these channels that you have on your cable, whether you have your Verizon. So I want you to go through and make layoffs. So go through and make layoffs of what you have. So I think that's the best way to get started. And then you know where all your money's going, and then you can probably find extra money. And then, you know, like I said, have 5 avenues of income.
That Mint, will you give that website again?
Yes, the website is www.mint.com.
Okay, ladies, please take a few seconds, write that down. Naturally, you can visit the site anytime, but this is so important.
Also, go to Deal Seeking, www.dealseekingmom.com.
Okay.
And then another one is www.couponmom.com. Those all work together. As this Deal Seeking Mom is the best deals for moms ever. So try to do different things. I think as a mom, whether you're single or whether you're married, you need help. I don't care who you are.
Definitely.
You need help because everybody's in survival mode. We're trying to recover with this recession. We're trying to recover from it, and we can recover.
But it takes work. It does take work.
Oh, it takes work. The Bible says we have to be diligent. We have to be disciplined. And I think if we're not disciplined and a good steward over having $1 or 50 cents or a penny, whatever it is, if we're not disciplined over that one and we just walk over a penny or walk over anything, we're not going to get more money coming in.
We do have to be good stewards of whatever God has blessed us with. And
yes, definitely.
certainly, one of the things that you've mentioned are these coupons. We don't have to go to the extreme couponing. However, to take advantage of the resources that's there, we need to be willing to do that. And if it takes us a few extra minutes to clip a few coupons, although today we don't have to really clip. You can just load them into your phone.
You can load them into your phone. You can do so many things. Right now, everything is so accessible.
Exactly.
And like, you know, the Bible says all the resources are right here. For whatever we want in life, all the resources are right here. And with a computer, all the resources are at our computer. And if you don't have computer and internet access, the libraries have them.
Yes.
So I think we should utilize the library, utilize the community colleges. They allow you to use it for free. The matter of fact, the community college is a great resource too, and the library is a great resource. Anything in the world you want is right there. Whether it's jobs, whether it's community college, whether it's starting a business, I think people should go to workshops. People should always educate themselves. If you're not better than you were the week before, when you wake up on Monday and you can't say, I didn't learn anything last week, or I didn't use a coupon, or I didn't make any layoffs, if you didn't do anything better from week to week, then you're wasting time.
Sure.
And I think if you didn't do anything better or you didn't help out anybody, do both. I think that's a big waste of time and a waste of space. And you're not being a good steward over your time, a good steward over educating yourself, a good steward over your mind, your time, and your money. That's what we have to do.
And it's good that you mentioned that, in that a lot of people say steward, and they think merely of money. But we're stewards over so many aspects of our life that we have to take control of those things. And there's really no reason for any woman or man, for that matter, to feel as if their life is out of control.
Right.
Because if you're being a good steward, that every aspect of your life has to line up. And it's not just a matter of spiritually lining it up, because salvation includes the whole man.
Yes.
So we have to look at all of these things and become good stewards over every aspect of our lives. When we look at finances, what do you find to be the most common mistakes that young single women make?
I think the most common mistake, as soon as any woman gets a paycheck, the first thing they do on the day they get paid, they think they have extra money. So before they set out their whole budget, it says, I'm going to go out and eat this day. They always order in lunch on payday. Every time I go to any place, we're going to order in lunch on payday. I think if you wait to see where everything goes, even if we go back to the envelope system, this goes to utilities, this goes to the house, this goes for entertainment, it's okay. But once that money's gone, don't overspend on payday. That is one of the mistakes we all make.
Living from paycheck to paycheck.
No, we live paycheck to Monday. If you live paycheck to paycheck these days, you're wealthy. Most women live paycheck to Monday. They don't even worry about paycheck to paycheck anymore. Paycheck to paycheck is like, that's back in the day, middle class. I mean, that's middle class if you live paycheck to paycheck.
Okay.
But most people live paycheck to Monday and don't think about the bigger picture. Don't think about the long term. Don't think about anything like that. So I think that one thing we need to do is the day you get your dollar, the day you get your paycheck, that day divide it up. Don't spend any money. Think about where this money is going. Say you have, and most people will say, I have $900 paycheck, but I have $1,200 in bills. Then you prioritize your bills. And then I think debt, get rid of your debt though, but debt just stands for doing everything but tithing. So
the church is always the first to suffer.
So the church is always the first to suffer. And cable. You will pay your cable bill before you pay church. You will pay your cable bill and your cell phone bill before you do it. That is normally a priority in most women's lives or most anybody's life.
Absolutely.
That should not be our priority. We need to call up Verizon and all the other all the other, places and say, what can you do to lower my bill? Yes, I'm going to pay my bill, but what can you see that can lower it or whatever? No, call them and say, you know what? Paying this $150 to Verizon is way too much, or to whatever you're, T-Mobile or whoever it is, AT&T. And I'm not just picking on. I pay Verizon a lot of money, so I'm just saying Verizon. But and I love Verizon, but I always call them up and say, what can you do to lower my bill? So cable, call them up. Lay off some channels. What can I do? They might have something going on. So I think all women need to do on the day you get paid is take a mind your own business day on that day. On your mind your own business day, what you need to do is just mind your own business. My dollar has a location. And the location is, okay, this goes to, my church or to my tithing. This dollar goes to my utilities. Okay, let me see if I can lower my utility bill by doing something. This dollar goes to, my rent or my mortgage or whoever I'm staying with. The next, then keep going down, and see what sacrifices you can make. So if you get $900, you got $1,200 worth of bills. Try to find money. And I promise you, if you give, for some reason, some more money will come in. Another thing I want you to do is all women go straight to your closet. Straight to your closet and say, you know what, I need to start having a liquidation sale. First I liquidated my closet. I have a big closet full of clothes that I don't wear.
Yes.
So I'm like, you know what, I can take this to a resale shop. So that's what I ended up doing. I took clothes to a resale shop, check for $598. just by
very good, by cleaning your closets.
Yes. Then these VCRs and things that, because electronics always are changing, things we hadn't used in a long time, go on a website called Gazelle, GAZELLE.com. That's www.gazelle.com.
All right.
$100 just for a VCR.
Really?
Yes. So, or for, old tape recorder or old phones, they pay for the shipping too.
Nice.
Same thing, I got all these books. I'm not using these books. Let me try to get rid of them. You know what? I need a new purse, but I can't afford a new purse. I need to go to this event. Go to bagsborrowedorsteal.com. You can rent a Chanel purse for $5. Stop spending all this money on trying to buy the latest purses, the latest shoes, the latest everything else. You can even rent it for $5 versus buying it. So I think we need to get our priorities together. And I'm not saying deprive yourself, but if you're short $300,
you need to make that up.
How can I create $300?
Sure.
And most people are short these days.
Of course.
9 times out of 10, most people are short. So what are we going to do? And we weren't born in debt. God didn't make us have this debt. And I know we asked him to help us out of our debt. So what do? We have got to learn how to go through it and have a breakthrough versus just praying, God, please get rid of my IRS debt. God, please get rid of my, state, whatever it is, my tax debt or my car debt or whatever. No, he didn't say pay the highest interest rate on this car. He didn't say do that. So I think we have to be more, change our mindset and say, we didn't get in this easy, so we're not going to get out easy, because it's a learning and a growing process. And if we get out of it easy, we'll get right back in it.
Of course.
So that's why I think that's called a good steward over our time, growing through our budgeting, growing through our spending plan. I think we have to do that.
We may not like it, but it's a necessity in life that and I like the way you keep saying plan.
Yeah.
Winning the lotto is not a plan.
No. Playing the lotto.
No, that's not going to do it.
Yeah, that's not going to do it. No, not at all.
You actually have to sit down, look at what you're spending, look at what you're making. And I wanted to ask you this, and I'll get back to what I was saying in a minute. Do we save more money by using direct deposit rather than having that physical check? Because I think that I've got money in my hand.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
can spend this money, but if we don't get it in our hands, then we're less likely to spend it.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so that is a good ideal.
Yes. Oh, I think direct deposit, and this is what we all need to do as women or as anyone who's listening. We need to set up our own personal board of directors.
All right.
To help our lives out. Now, I think most women need a banker. That means have a relationship with your credit union, have a relationship with your bank, get direct deposit, find out what low interest rates they have. Say, you know what? I have a car and I got this high interest rate that I bought this car through. If my credit score goes up, can you refinance my car and make my payments lower?
Certainly.
They would love to do that. But it's all about relationships. Have relationships with your money and have relationships with everybody where your money's going. With Verizon, with your cable company, with your credit union, wherever your money's going, track and have that relationship with them. So I think everybody needs a relationship. And like you said, go back to planning. But have that direct deposit. That's the best thing. If you have direct deposit, most credit unions will give you a line of credit off the bat. So say you're $300 short. You might have a little cushion during that time. I'm not saying use lines of credit.
No.
But I'm saying you need that emergency cushion. Everybody needs that, and that's what we don't have.
Is it more prevalent for people of color to have difficulties budgeting?
I just left the chairman of FDIC, the interim chairperson. All right. And they did a study at the FDIC about African Americans having bank accounts versus having cell phones. We have like 3-to-1 cell phones versus bank accounts. I think it was 3-to-1 or 5-to-1 or whatever it is. I forget. I don't quote me on this, but it was such a disparity with not having bank accounts and having cell phones. Well, you're paying all these fees and everything on the cell phones and everything else. You're paying your monthly payment with cash. We just have to stop. We have to be banked. So we have to bank on our future. If you don't have a bank account, you can't bank on a future.
That's quite true. You mentioned the FDIC.
Yes.
most people see the letters
Yes.
and they don't know what it stands for.
FDIC, Federal Deposit Insured Corporation. They insure your money. So every time you go to a bank or a credit union, you see this FDIC little sticker. Those people who insure your money at the banks.
And they insure it for up to?
It was up to 100,000. I think it's like up to 200,000 now. So.
200,000.
So think that big though. I don't care. You're like,
I'm
I'll
thinking
never have
more.
Yeah, I was like, that's
Thinking
not, you know,
more.
keep that. Yeah, so I can have that much money in the bank. We have spent that over a few years of our life anyway. We spent that much money.
Certainly.
So, and if you look back at where your money went 3 years ago, he's like, I wasted so much money. You know, I wasted a lot of money. If I write down every single place my money's going, I was like, wow, I spent money on food, eating out here, doing this. And if you eat out without going to a website called restaurants.com, so check out this website, www.restaurants.com.
Good websites here.
So go on that website. If you go out and eat, you can get like a $50 gift certificate for like $4. So I just think people need to start being more creative in what they're doing.
And
so.
How would someone just find these things? Is there a centralized place where?
Well, everybody's looking for something
listeners
different. So, but there's different things. Matter of fact, I have a book out called Girl Make Your Money Grow. And in the book, we have, how to have 5 avenues of income. Some of the stuff is in the book, but a lot of the things are on different sites. And matter of fact, I got some of the websites on my site, GailPerry-Mason.net, but not all of them are up there, but some of them are. But, how to become a mystery shopper is on there. That's what I was saying. People need to have 5 avenues of income. So on there, I got like different jobs you can do. So each person, if you don't have 5 avenues of income coming in, you're just surviving. So you want to have more checks coming in and going out as a thing.
Yes.
And I'm not saying this is a wealthy way. This is a way just to maintain.
Right, or even be able to save a few
peace
pennies.
is so important. And I think everybody needs financial peace.
Yes.
And not having financial peace will stress you out. It will kill you. And I think we shouldn't live on the edge that much. We're doing it to ourselves. And 9 times out of 10, most people do it to themselves. And I know personally, I have. It's kind of like, wow, I overspent here, I did this, and I did it to myself. Nobody asked me to do it, and nobody made me do it. So we determine money is currency, and you determine where it flows. So sometimes it flows the wrong way, sometimes it flows the right way, and I do the wrong things like other people do the same thing too, but I'm trying to learn from my lessons. So I think the first time you do something wrong, okay, it's a mistake. Second time, maybe it's a mistake again, but the third time you do it is a choice. So sometimes we just make bad financial choices, and then we have to pay for those choices.
And planning your monthly spendings, when you look at and is there such a thing as a bad budget?
It's no such thing as a bad budget. I think just having a budget is good overall. But I don't think any budget is ever bad. And I don't think anything you do, I would never say is bad. I mean, you want to remain positive. You want to, but I think it has to fit. It has to be tailored to you. Just like if you go to the doctor gives you a checkup. Of course, you're going to check your pressure. Your pressure is going to be different than anybody else's. Your BMI is going to be different. Your financial plan for your life is going to be different from anyone else's because your income is going to be different. Your risk tolerance is going to be different. Your spending pattern is going to be different. And some people just naturally, they spenders, and they have to do, they do emotional spending. Like me, I do emotional eating, emotional spending. And sometimes people, do things, spend with their emotions versus spend with a plan. And that's where we get in trouble. So everybody knows, everybody's character is totally different. Everybody's totally different. So there's no bad way and there's no, right way. I think it's individualized. And I think that's what we all have to do is have an individual plan and, see where we're going.
Let's say you have a family of 4.
Family of 4. Okay.
Family of 4. You are married, 1 income.
Okay.
What would be the optimum investment?
Okay. I think
amount.
Optimum investment amount?
Yes.
I think, well, it would depend on what you can spare. I think nobody should ever deprive themselves, as I mentioned. Nobody should deprive themselves and say, I need to invest $100,000. If you don't have $100,000, it shouldn't be like a sacrifice. Investing should be something you do with your disposable income. So I think if you have an extra, do it monthly, an extra $100 a month, it should be like a bill of $100 a month. It should be a bill of $200 a month. But if you have kids, you have to save. If you have
Yes,
kids, you have to
you do.
save. And then, but the other thing that we can't do, kids can get scholarships for college. We can't get scholarships for retirement. So most women, I know I have done wrong. I have like borrowed from my 401k, taken money out of my 401k to send, my boys to college. Well, they can get scholarships and student loans. I can't get a loan, nor can I get a scholarship. And your kids will rob you blind. So, and they will. So if you have kids, your kids, you live for your kids. It's like, you hold a sign up. When I go into work, I work for my children. And it's not for my retirement. We're supposed to work for our retirement. We're supposed to enjoy life.
Certainly.
And I think if you're in financial survival mode, you're not enjoying life. You're always worried about, I got to make $1, I got to do this, I got to do that. And then you're not even thinking about your retirement. Then when you get older, I mean, I don't want to be upset with my kids. Like, you took my retirement. They did. So, you can't do it that way. So I think it's a balance. And I think just like you have a balanced budget, just like we're trying to balance the budget in the United States, balance the budget right here in the city of Detroit, we have to balance our own budget at home too. Don't worry about what's going on in the White House. We got to worry about what's going on in your house. So in your house, do you have a balanced budget? If you have a balanced budget, that will help everybody else out. Most people don't have a balanced budget. So I just think that's what we do have to work on, is the balance. So we can't say, how much did you save? How much did you do? Those kind of things. I think we really just have to have what is the balance in the household. And week to week, like most people, they might not have the same money week to week. So that's why you have to balance it all out and, figure out where you're going and have that cushion, an emergency cushion.
And having that cushion, that emergency cushion.
Yes.
What do you allot for it?
I think you should have 6 months of after-tax dollars. 6 months, yes. It's what you should have. And it should be in an interest-bearing account.
What's the least amount you can put into savings? Or what's the best way
$10.
to save it?
The best way to save, this is what I do every day. I have a jar in my kitchen, and I have the word life on it, living in financial freedom every day. Every day I make 50-cent deposits. And I make all my kids make a 50-cent deposit. So this way you're getting a habit, and I've done it since they were like 2 and 3. Then they get in the habit of making deposits versus making withdrawals. So every day, if you do anything 21 days in a row, it becomes a habit. So I make a habit of making deposits every day, and everybody else does. So, and then by the end of the week, then what we do is, at the end of the month, we'll say it's $78 in there, or however much. And then, because everybody's making these deposits, and they say, okay, you get to keep half. Whoever gets to guess how much money's in there, they keep half, and the other half goes to savings. So we make fun out of it versus like we're depriving ourselves, we're doing this. So change can change your financial future. I always say that. Saving change, just do it. You could just put a little bit away. It doesn't have to be difficult in life.
Well, that's a very interesting way to get children used to the idea
definitely.
of putting something away and not spending every dime you get.
Oh, yeah.
And it does
all
seem
of it's learned behavior.
Fun.
Right. All of it's learned behavior. If you start spending every dime when you're younger, you're going to spend every dime when you get older. So that's how I learned. When I got $1 for my birthday, or $5, or a tooth fairy, or whatever, I got $3, I'm out. I'm going to a candy store. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. That's what I did. So,
sure.
And that was a habit that we teach our kids at a young age. Like every day. And if you talk about money problems in front of your kids all the time, if you hear your parents talk about, I don't want the bill collectors calling, don't answer that phone. Yeah, don't answer, that caller ID, for a cane. You don't answer the phone. If you see that, you think, oh, my mom doesn't pay her bills, so this doesn't happen.
Sure.
That's also learned behavior. So I think a lot of it, we have to break that cycle or whatever. I've learned that behavior, from, people filing bankruptcy in my family, the whole deal, which is okay. I think bankruptcy is not the last, chapter 7 is not your last chapter of your life. It's okay to file. I'm not saying that. But you can recover from it, but you got to have a recovery plan. Like, what is it? But if your kids know all of this, I can run up these credit cards, I can do this,
I'll just file for bankruptcy.
I'll file bankruptcy. You make it easy. And I think the kids don't need to know your financial problems. So I think you got to keep it away, but they need to know that they can't spend all your money. So I have my kids, when they turn 14, I give them a credit card. So they learn when they turn 18.
Really?
Well, when I turned 18 and got a credit card, I ran into the limit. So I did that. So I learned from my lesson. So I teach my kids when they turn 14, they get a credit card. All of them get Capital One has this credit card that they get. So I give them all a Capital credit card, Capital One, $300 limit or $500 limit. And then they call me before they spend, but they have to have enough money to pay it off at the end of the month. And if they don't, they can't use it. So they learn discipline when they turn 14. Then they go online. They have all my passwords. They go online. They pay my Verizon bill, my one's head of the cable, one's head of my whatever. So then they know, oh my God, the bill went up. Let me find ways to do. I put the onus on them now. Like they have to do this. So, and they have to manage their own credit card. But my goal is I want my kids to be better than me. I want my kids to have better credit scores than I have. That doesn't mean drive a nicer car, which I don't have a nice car anyway, but drive a nicer car or do anything like that or wear nicer clothes or anything like that. I think our kids need to have, and that's what I, try to tell my kids. I want them to have a better credit score than I do, more financial knowledge, better education. That's what I want. So by having your kids better than you does not mean they have to wear red bottom shoes or the whole deal, all that stuff. So that doesn't mean that. So I just try to, we have to teach them what delayed gratification is.
And that's something we're not very good at doing.
No.
We live in an instant gratification society,
right.
And it just keeps going and going and going.
Right.
And every child grows up and they think, I have to have the exact same thing or better than what my parents had.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, we're
you
raising a culture of impatience.
Sure.
We're raising a culture of impatience. All our kids are so impatient now. They want this, 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 and this, and it's costing us way too much money.
Immediately.
Yeah, they want it now. They want the house now. They want the nice car. They want everything. And if they don't get it, they'll find a way to get it, which they get in debt, and then file bankruptcy or do whatever. And it's so not worth it. So if you get things steady, and I always tell my kids, no, because my one son wants a car now, and I'm like, you need something to look forward to. He wants an Audi, a nice car. And I'm like, nope, you need something to look forward to. He's like, well, just if you buy it, we can share it. I'm like, no, this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kids, my kids are just like anybody else's. My kids are the same way. They always want things, and, it costs me money, and I spend with my heart because, I love my kids and all this stuff. So I'm just like every other mom. But we can't spend with our heart. We can't spend with our emotions, not all the time. And it will get us in trouble. And then you manage your kids, So... so I just think it's a balanced budget. You got to have balance with everything. It's not just balancing the money. It's balancing the emotions in the house. It's balancing the attitudes. It's balancing, money is just the tool. Everything else comes before that. It's emotions. I want to go out and eat. I want to do this. I want to do this. The money is just a tool just to do it. Money is supposed to serve you, work for you. Money is not what we're supposed to serve. And, since your religious show, I just said, it's you can't serve two masters, the MasterCard and the master. You can't do them both. And money is just a cycle. Like I said, it's currency. You determine where it goes.
Do you ever worry about your children having a credit card?
No.
Not being responsible enough?
No, they need to worry about me getting them if they go out of control. No, worry something the other way.
Because I'm looking in.
No, my kids are.
I love the ideal and the concept of doing it.
If you give your kids a credit card, because if when they turn 18, like I did, they turn 18. When all of my kids turn 18, they get the credit card offers from American Express or whatever. They're like, oh, I already got a credit card. I don't need this. They are like, I don't need it. I don't want it or anything. But when I turned 18 and I left my mom and I can say, whoa, I can get a Hudson's credit card or this credit card. I took everything to the limit, and I got in a lot of debt. So, which was true at 18. By the time I was 19, I had so many past due notices that it was ridiculous. So, collection, the whole deal. So
I was a little smarter. I went to Canada.
Oh, geez, I wasn't smart. So, but I had collections, garnishments, the whole deal from getting all this credit card debt. So it started my life off really bad. So I wanted my kids to learn the discipline at age 14. So now that they all are 18, they all have, their credit scores are all in the 800s, all three of my sons. Heck, they can co-sign for me now. If I needed something. So, but that was the thing. I just teach my kids, paying interest. So I want my kids, but I'm proud to say my kids have a better credit score than I do. I'm so proud to say that because...
As well you should be.
Because I've taught them the discipline that I didn't have. And I think that's why we got to break that cycle, from their parents, filing bankruptcy to, your kids. I don't want to have that same cycle where they get in, debt and think, oh, I can just do this to get rid of my debt. So they have a different attitude towards money, and then they have a different attitude towards investing. They look at things like, oh, you don't have stocks, you don't have bonds, because that's what they grew up. With. And when my kids were younger, I bought them the Disney stock. I frame all their stocks, put it in their room. So when they wake up in the morning, instead of having pictures of other stuff, they're like, oh, I own Disney, or I own McDonald's, or I own that. So every holiday, I buy them a stock. And whatever they want, whether it's even True Religion jeans, or whether it's Ralph Lauren clothes, or whatever. My one son loves Ralph Lauren, but I'm like, oh, you know, if you don't own Ralph Lauren, we can't buy, you know, Ralph Lauren. So I just try to, you know, frame stocks, and I got to put my disclaimer. I can't say, you know, on a show to buy these different companies.
Understandable.
So I'm putting my disclaimer out there, but I'm not saying buy it, but if you own something, tell the kids to look at it and say, you know, the iPods and the Apples of the world and all that. Apple has more money than the United States. You know, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, they do. So, I mean, if you look at different companies, I mean, just teach your kids to be owners of companies versus consumers.
Yes.
And that's, you know, that's what, you know, I think that's what our kids need to do, is just learn that.
If you're buying stock, and how much do you need?
You can put stock in a layaway. Go to sharebuilder.com. I'll give you this website, www.sharebuilder.com.
Okay.
It's in my book, and I did a whole thing on where to click, what to do,
We're
what
going
to
to
do.
talk about that book.
Oh, it's in the book, Girl, Make Your Money Grow. It's in my in the book that I wrote like, what, 6 years ago or whatever.
Okay.
But
the principles remain the same.
yeah, principles are still the same.
Sure.
So, and I did it with Glenda Bridgeforth, because I love her as my sister. So we're in collaboration together. So I don't go without mentioning her name. But sharebuilder.com, just go on the website, and it goes step by step on how to buy stock. And it's easy. You can say, I can put stock in a layaway. It's so easy to do it. So, but
That
just
is
do it, and it's in research. I always say research, learn, and try to, you know, just educate yourself on it.
I want to mention the fact that it doesn't matter how old you are when you make these investments. What matters is that you make the investment. It's not just an investment in the future, but it's an investment in yourself now. So don't look at it as, well, I have time to do this. Start doing it now, so
Yes.
that you build up the habit of not running out there and just throwing the money away, but you're in the habit of saying, I'm going to invest in myself, I'm going to invest in my family, and by all means, please, in the process, don't make God last. Make him first. So pay those tithes, do the offering. Let's be fair to him. Go ahead. Let's talk about your books.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
My first book was Money Matters for Families. I did that a long time ago when I did things with Daimler Chrysler. I did a thing on teaching families about how to balance and how to put things together financially. So that was my first book, and that's out of print now. My second book is called Girl, Make Your Money Grow, with Random House as the publisher. But so that book we talked about how to have 5 avenues of income, how to make your money. It's like once you get out of debt, once you find out where your money's going, you know, track your money, then you learn how to make it grow. Like I mentioned, your money should never just be spent. That's not what the tool is supposed to be. Your money is supposed to work, and most people don't make their money work for them. So while you're sitting here today, what's making money for you? If you don't have anything making money for you, then we're doing something wrong. While you're watching this program, it's like, okay, what's making money for me? Do I have like investments going? Do I have, like I said, clean out your closet, put your clothes to a consignment shop? Am I doing that? Am I getting checks from, from Gazelle.com, as I mentioned, with the electronics? You know, do I have extra books? If you go to CDs.com or Books.com, I'm trying to think of their website, but it's books.com, I believe, and you can sell your books, you know, all your old books that you have. So start thinking like, is this just sitting on the shelf? I'm never going to look at it, I'm never going to do anything, or should I, try to sell? There's all these different ways. If you just go on the internet and Google, how to make income selling my electronics, how to do this, or how to get paid going shopping. Matter of fact, it's a lady out, I'll give you her number. Her name is Miss Carter, and she teaches people how to become a certified mystery shopper. So you get paid to go on cruises, paid to go shopping, paid to do different things. So if you're going to do that and you love to shop and you love retail therapy, you get upset, you want to go shopping, go ahead and get paid to do it. So there's different ways you can do it. So, all the women listening, you like shoes or whatever. One time I had to do it for a store called Burlington Coat Factory.
Okay.
So, yeah, they gave me like $150 just to go shopping, and say that the store is a mess. That's a...
Repeat that one more time. They gave her the money to go shopping. That didn't come out of her pocket.
Right.
So
they gave me the money just to go shopping. I think I got a belt and like a shawl or whatever. Yeah. And you have to say, what happened. So people get paid to become mystery shoppers. People get paid. So there's different ways of avenues that you can, create. And as I mentioned, it's not like, $1,000 here, $1,000 there. You won't, make you wealthy, but it does all add up.
Sure.
So that's what I think people need to do. I mean, heck, you need to put your kids to work. I mean, my youngest son, he's a big baby, but he gets paid like $75 an hour. He goes once a month, and he tries new cereals before they come to market. So he gets paid 75 bucks an hour.
That's a hard job.
Just
Not.
to eat cereal, yeah. So I'm into eating healthy, don't get me wrong, but if he getting paid 75 bucks an hour to eat some cereal, that's a good dinner for him. So anyway, so yeah, so I mean, you go on focusgroups.com. It's a whole bunch of focus groups, you know, and you can do it. You can even go on this one website. It's called, my one son just looked it up. It's called paid2ride.com. They pay you 700 bucks a month, give you a brand new car, but it's paid2ride.com, but you have to drive a lot. So one of my son drives from like Ann Arbor to Auburn Hills, all these different places. So he's looking at it too. But it's those cars you see with all those stickers on it now.
Sure.
People get paid 700 bucks a month. They give you, it's a brand new car if you look at all the cars. Brand new. They actually give you the car to drive. But you have to like drive a long distance, you know, a lot of places like from one city to another. So people, or just go on the website. How do I get paid to drive? You know, how do I get a free car? How do I do this? I mean, the resources are here. I just think we don't go look at our fingertips and take the time. You got to have time and knowledge, and you got to ask people. You know, you got to ask people for what you want, and then you know, ask for resources, and don't expect people to do it for you. You got to do it yourself.
Definitely.
So,
what happens if you expect someone to do it for you?
And you know, it won't happen. So yeah, no, but I mean, you can't. I mean, you
that's
gotta
what
just,
I wanted to bring
so
out, the fact that it won't happen if you're expecting everything to be handed to you,
yeah,
and just present it.
No.
Here you go. You're a nice
not
person.
at all. I have a lot of kids that work with me. I do this money camp every summer where I have kids, and they end up they start their own business. I have one girl now that's been on like Katie Couric, 60 Minutes. She's been on all these different shows, and she has just an old school bus. And she ended up, you know, making it into a dance studio, and she gives dance lessons, and she's only, you know, 12. She's on her way to be a millionaire. I have another kid that I know, she's like 17 now, and she started making cheesecakes for her mom when her mom was ill, and she came to my money camp. She's on 7 Mile and Schaefer in the Detroit area, Lucky's Cheesecake. And now now she just graduated, she's going to college. But yeah, but she still has a cheesecake factory right here on 7 Mile and Schaefer. It's one of my kids. So I buy from her, you know, every summer, you know, for all my kids. But yeah, so it's a lot of different, you know, if kids can do it, come with an idea. One girl made millions just by, you know how you put bacon on the little thing and you put it in the plate normally and put it in the microwave? She made a little shelf for it and sold it to Walmart and made millions. Another girl came with another website idea. Facebook bought it for like $12 million. She's right here in Lincoln Park. And if you Google her, and she's made $12 million by doing that. So when you have a business, I think when you have anything, you have a job, you have a business, you have anything in life, and I talk about this in the book, you need an exit strategy or stock. You got to have an exit strategy to say, you know, this is my business for now, but I have an exit strategy. Somebody buys it out, good. Bob Johnson, even though BET, you know, was bought out, but they ended up by Viacom for like $200 million. And he started his business with a $5,000 loan from somebody, you know, and then he, you know, got bought out for $200 million. But the thing is, he had an exit strategy. So, and I'm not saying sell out your business or sell out, you know, being a black-owned business or anything like that, but I'm just saying you need an exit strategy for what you have. So,
what's the purpose of the exit strategy?
To move on to the next thing.
Okay.
You know, you can't do the same
so
thing.
So it's not the ideal.
And you make money, like,
just sitting there,
and that's your retirement. It's like, I can't. If your home is your retirement, say, well, if you don't sell during the time when the market's high, that home is no longer your retirement. You're underwater. So you got to have an exit strategy. Whether you buy a home, when you do something, everything takes a strategy that you do. So whether it's a home, whether it's, you know, a portfolio, whether it's, you know, anything, you should have an exit strategy. Even a marriage, but no, I'm only kidding. No, I'm only kidding. Only kidding.
It's like the woman who was getting married, and the minister asked her, "Do you take this man?" And she said, "Maybe."
I know. To debt do its part. Yeah. Debt is what breaks up marriages. So, you know, and it really does.
Exit strategy.
Yes, you got to have an exit strategy. So, but that's one thing I think couples should talk about is money before they even come together as one. They need to talk about money. They need to talk about the kids, how to raise the kids, how to do all that stuff. So all that stuff comes into play, and balance is the whole thing. Balance a budget, a balanced diet, and balance in your household. Everything, just totally I think the key word is peace and balance.
And certainly mentioning the marriage thing, and all those things need to be discussed prior to. And if you're not with a marriage counselor who goes through those things, leave and go to someone else.
Right.
Because those are problems that are going to occur later on.
And I think don't talk to anybody who's never been in debt if you talk about trying to get out of debt. If you have never, had a collection notice because you don't know what it feels like. I mean, having a collection notice, having a garnishment, having a foreclosure, having a repossession, all that stuff, that's like normal. I mean, people have done that before. But I think you got to give people hope that, okay, I had this happen, I can recover, I can do whatever, you can do it. I think everybody can have, a plan to recover from any situation. I don't care what situation it is.
Let's talk about these 5 ways.
5 ways of creating income?
Yes.
Okay, 5 avenues of income. I think one thing, your TV right here. It's a place, AC Nielsen. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Of course.
If they call you, the Nielsen ratings and all that stuff too. They pay you like $2,000 a year just to watch TV. So it's a box that you put in your house, and they, it has all these clicks and all this stuff on it. Or they pay you to go grocery shopping. Nielsen has a thing that pays you to go grocery shopping.
I have that.
Oh, you have that where you did? Oh my God, I hated that.
I just unplugged it yesterday.
That. I unplugged that. Oh. I couldn't handle it because you go grocery shopping and you got to scan everything once you get home. So, but you get free groceries. It's cool, but it got to be too much to me. It was overwhelming to me. I couldn't do it. So, but they pay you to go grocery shopping, as you know, pay you to watch TV. So I think, clean out your closet. Like I mentioned, I took my clothes to a resale shop, and one is right down the street from here, not too long from this location. But I should check for $598 just for cleaning out my closet. Clothes I will never ever wear again. I think another thing, if you have purses, most women have purses. Go to the website, as I mentioned, Bags, Borrow, or Steal. Go to the website. They will buy all your old purses. Send you a check for them. You send your purses, they send you a check. You send your shoes that you're not wearing, they send you a check. Gazelle, Gazelle, GAZELLE.com. And my son, Scott, my baby, does this. He goes to a website, I think it's called mytronics.com. All old electronics, I say VCRs, broken, old cell phones, everything. Scott gets a check-in once a month by doing this. Another one that my son, and the only thing I did, I set my kids down, told them, if they don't make any money, they couldn't live there anymore, so that put fire under them. So my youngest son really brings in the most income of anybody in the house. He goes to a website called iStockPhoto.com and BigStockPhoto.com. He takes pictures. He loves pictures of cars, old homes, and things like that. He loves photography, and I don't know how to do anything, but so that's how he brought his camera and everything. Well, he takes those pictures, come home, downloads them on these different websites. He could come home, wow, Mom, I made like $500 a day. I made like $400 a day just by taking pictures and downloading them. So when I need a loan, I go to Scott.
There you go.
So he got a better credit score than I do, got more income coming in. I mean, you got to look at your kids. Turn your kids into, working for. Scott did a thing. He Googled how to stand in line and get paid. When the iPads came out, somebody paid him $200 just to stand in line. So if you Google, if your kids got good legs, make them stand. So, I mean, you got to just look at them. Use your kids. I mean, use them. They are meant, only thing we have to provide for them is food, shelter, water. So I think they take all our money, so they need to bring us some income. This way, when he needs something that's expensive or whatever, he can go buy it himself.
Sure.
So I think that they need to invest in themselves too. So I think that's another avenue of income is make your kids stand in line. If you want to go to the movies for free, as I mentioned, restaurants.com, livingsocial.com, all those different things. We go to the movies, but get paid to do it. And I'll try to get you can put up on your website Miss Carter's number on how to become a certified mystery shopper to get paid to go shopping. I think I mentioned like 5 avenues: watching TV, clean out your closet, books, sell your books, sell your CDs, just different things like that. It's another website if you want to work at home and just like process credit cards. So you have a computer at home, you can process credit cards. It's called westathome.com or alpineaccess.com. Go to those websites. They pay you like $8 a minute. They're on the phone with people processing credit cards. So if you don't have income coming in, there's different avenues of income. I think everybody, as I mentioned, and it's not a lot of money, but if you get a check for $50 from here, $100 from here, going to different focus groups, as I mentioned, go to focus groups, go to focusgroups.com, go to Green Book, put in your zip code, find focus groups in your area. Marketing companies are always looking for people to, as a matter of fact, somebody they got an email, if you know somebody who wears Depends, you only pay them $150 to talk about wearing Depends, what it's like. Or if you have a kid in diapers, or if you have this, all these different things. So marketing companies are always looking to market. Just get involved and call them up and say, I want to be in your database. If you do that, they'll call you like all the time to be in different surveys. So just do it. I mean, there's different avenues of income. Another thing is recycling. It's a place, I know in Michigan, it's right here in Royal Oak. Just get cardboard and all this stuff. On Saturdays, you go, drop off all this stuff to recycle. They give you cash right up front.
Does it cost you to get into these things?
No, everything I mentioned doesn't cost you a dime.
All right.
And as I mentioned too, the other thing, the bags, barrel, and steel, or it's a website called renttherunway.com. Women love to dress, love to do, and I'm not one, I don't have any designer purses, I don't have any of that stuff, but women who do like to dress and do that, it's like, okay, I'm working to do this. People, you know, people say, oh, I saw that on you last time. I wear mostly black every day, but people will say, oh, I saw that, you know, whatever dress it is. Rent your dresses. I mean, $5, $10. I tell girls, most people spend like $1,000 on a prom. If you rent a Prada dress, a Chanel dress, you're going to rent it for $10. You're only going to wear the prom dress one time. Rent the shoes. Rent the red bottom shoes. Rent the whatever you want to wear. Instead of buying it for the prom for the one day. We spend so much money on a prom, we shouldn't do it. So I'm totally, you know, I think those things we shouldn't do. So
basically, this is a matter of you having a little common sense and some wisdom, and then
I think it's wisdom.
That guidance to get you there. And you certainly supplied that today. You have your own website. Yeah,
GailPerry-Mason.net, because somebody bought my name. Maybe a few years ago, somebody bought Gail Perry-Mason, and they wanted me to buy it back from them. I refused to buy it, so I can't use GailPerry-Mason.com. But that's another business that somebody has. If they see somebody out there, they'll buy your name. If you want it, you can buy it. Somebody in Ohio, I was supposed to buy it, and I'm not buying it back from them.
Really?
And yeah, so people will buy your name. People will buy names. And it cost them like $6. They paid $6 to buy my name. And then they charged me money to buy it back, so I can't buy it back until it expires. So yeah, but people do things like that. So you got to be, you know, if you don't buy your name right away, people will buy it from you. So yeah, so it's GailPerry-Mason.net. I have some of this stuff on the website, but I haven't updated my website. I got to find a new web designer to help me out. So
I'm in the same boat on that.
Okay.
But
well, we can make somebody some money. We can barter. We can do whatever and help people out. So yeah, I need to update my website. So, but a lot of that stuff is on there.
So it's still up. It's still running.
GailPerry-Mason.net.
Okay.
I still
pay GoDaddy. Be sure that you do the
Yeah.
net on there and not the com.
Right.
Go to the net.
But I put a lot of stuff up on Facebook every day on the fan page on how to save and how to do things like that. So I do that on that page every day. So it's on Gail Perry-Mason is the author on Facebook, or waist reduction on Twitter, because it goes from one, because that's all I ever wanted in life was a neck and a waist, but I'm still working on trying to get both, a waist. So one day I want it, so.
This has been very interesting. We didn't get into males, but I want to do that at another time.
Okay.
And I love what you're saying about the children and the fact that you've put these principles into action so you really know the results. And I've got a 13-year-old niece, and I'm thinking, she's so tight with her money, but
that's a good thing. I'm glad she's tight.
She spends everyone else's, but her own, she wants to hold on to it. But
that's a good business person, spends other people's money. Never spend your own.
Yeah, well, I've kind of cut her off, so that's one less avenue that she has. But please come back and join me again.
I sure will. Thank you. Okay.
I know that you're doing well, and I appreciate you squeezing us in.
No, thank you. It was an honor.
Thank you so much.
So no, thank you. Okay.
This has been today's Christian Woman, and I am pleased that you have joined us for this period of time. Please listen to what's been said. Put this to practice in your life. Let your family grow financially, spiritually, and until we meet again, may God bless you and keep living saved.